just letting you know what is the true meaning behind self-care and self-love, just because a lot of people have a misconception of it. People tend to think, it's all about doing your nails and your hair, drinking tea and reading a book and, being all, aesthetic on the gram. You see all these like Sunday reset vlogs, and you see all these like reels of, spend the day with me, going to Target. That's not everybody's reality.
Target,
yeah, like that's not self-love in a nutshell. That could be their version of self-love, but you really need to focus on you. Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to another video. It's been a while, I know. And we are back with consistency, new content. While we were away, we were doing the work internally to be our best selves for you guys and give you guys the best practical steps in order to be the tenacious woman that you already are. So as you guys know, my name is Vedleen.
And I'm Jessica.
And we are here to give you the deeper meaning behind self-awareness, self-love, self-care, and all the selves, okay? So we broke down today's topic into 5 points, and we're just going to go ahead and get started into the video. And point number 1 that we are making is the way to go ahead and achieve your best self and, achieve self-love, self-care. You need to envision the life that you want and go after it. So basically asking yourself, what does the best version of myself look like in every area of your life? Writing it down and then making attainable steps to achieve it. At Tenacious Woman Energy, we always give Bible verses for everything that we say, just so that you can have some biblical reference and some secular references as well. We're going to give you guys, examples of our everyday lives and how we apply this, but definitely envision the life that you want. So your best version of yourself, and go after it. So the first verse that we have for you guys today is Proverbs 4:25 through 27. And it reads, "Avoid all perverse talk. Stay away from corrupt speech. Look straight ahead and fix your eyes on what lies before you. Mark out a straight path for your feet. Stay on the safe path. Do not sidetrack. Keep your feet from following evil." Now, this reminds me of another verse that talks about the steps of a good man is ordered by the Lord. And what that basically, for me, how I interpret this verse is to basically, like it says, fix your eyes on what's ahead. What is the best version of yourself? And mark the path out to keep your feet straight. So what is going to be the steps that you need to take in order to be your best self? For example, best self for someone like me, I want to be like maybe a certain wardrobe I want to have. Like I want to be presented to the world in a more professional, sophisticated, fancy, classy, chic, bougie way. And so for me, the steps that I would take to attain that, okay, well, I would look at people who already are dressed in that way. How do they carry themselves? What are some of the pieces that they use that can be reused, because we ain't got money to wear things once, you know what I'm saying? So we're going to be, trying to put pieces together that can, be used versatile and in different ways. So like a blazer, you can make it very dressy and business, but you can also wear it formal, like informally, casually, like things like that. When the verse says, fix your eyes on what lies before you, that your best self is before you, and then marking ways to keep your feet straight, which is like attainable steps for you to go ahead and achieve that. So make it practical for yourself. Like if you want to be somebody who has a nice body, then you're going to be like, okay, well, today I'm going to go for a 30-minute walk, and I'm going to meal prep each week, and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. So that way you can actually get to your goal rather than just, making a goal and having no steps to get there.
That's amazing. I mean, you basically, I don't even have anything to add on to that. The only thing I would just say, like Vedleen said, just envision the type of life that you want. It could just either be a lifestyle, or, a short-term goal, long-term goal, whatever it may be. And I would just say the best thing to do is just to be consistent and
Yes,
just stick to that goal. Consistency is really what's going to be able to get you there. For me personally, what I'm working on is I'm going through a weight loss journey, and it's something that I started out back in January. And
yes,
so, there's some days that I fell off and, miss a day or two or three, from going to the gym. But then I think about and I remember, the type of look that I want to achieve. So then, once I remind myself of that, I get up and it motivates me again to start working out and eating healthy and to be more consistent. So even if you fall, it's okay. Just think about the goal that you want to reach. Write down your plans, how many calories you're supposed to eat a day, what kind of workouts you're supposed to be doing. If you need a personal trainer to keep you accountable, do that as well. Whatever you know yourself. So whatever you believe that will basically help you to stay on track with your goal, go for it.
for sure, for sure. Another verse that we had written down is, I believe it says Habakkuk, but I don't know if that's how you say that word, but it's 2 and 2. And that's basically vision in the mind is only imaginary. Vision, when it's written down, is a vision. So when you write down the vision of your best self, when you put it plain black and white on paper, or print out a picture of who you aspire to be, it makes it real. It gives it permission to exist here on earth. So definitely there's something about, getting it out of your head and into the world that makes it very real and permanent. So it may seem crazy, but there's a lot of people out there who make vision boards, and those are really great ways to remind yourself daily about what your goals are and keeping them in front of you to know where you want to be.
Another verse too that I'm throwing in there
Yeah.
is faith without works is dead.
Ooh,
So that's a very important one. That's the easiest verse to really remember.
yeah.
So if you have faith in yourself and you have faith in the dream that you want to achieve, or the type of lifestyle you want to live, or the type of body, or whatever it may be, understand that literally if you have that faith, it's just faith. But without works, it's dead. You
Yes.
know, basically it's just a dream, it's just a thought, it's just an idea. But the way you manifest that is if you put in work each and every single day. Like I said, even if you fall off, it's okay. Continue to put in that work, and one day you'll get there.
For sure. I absolutely agree. I absolutely agree. For time's sake, we're going to go ahead and move on to step 2. If you do have any questions, please leave them down in the comments below. If you want us to elaborate a little bit more, this one is just a quick get back into the game video. So we're definitely going to move into the second point.
That one we're going to talk about having a strong mentality is very important, and it really goes into number one, which is the envisioning of your life and what you want it to be. The strong mentality is understanding, like being consistent. That comes into having discipline within yourself. Positive thoughts. I know I can achieve this. I know I can do this. I know I can do that. Basically manifesting whatever you believe. And understanding that there might be hurdles and things like that, but it's okay. And one of the verses that we went ahead and wrote down was Romans 12 verse 2, and that one basically it says, do not conform of this world and to be transformed. Trying to change yourself and trying to reach a goal, whatever lifestyle or envisioning your lifestyle, it is going to require you to change what you're doing currently in order to be able to one day achieve what you want. You don't lose weight by laying at home and doing the same things and eating the same foods. You lose weight by eating healthier and going to the gym and putting in that work. So that requires for you to transform the way you think, transform your daily routine and actions. So that's a very important verse that I like, that actually me and Vedline love. We always talk about that verse because it goes with everything. And then also another very important thing is be careful of the way you think, be careful of the way you perceive yourself. Be
Yes,
careful to tackle that ending on the journey. It's not going to be easy. But like I said, you just have to understand that it is going to be a step-by-step process. And, and if something, happens, if you go onto the gym for 2 weeks straight and you step on a scale and you gain the pound, don't just give up because of that. Understand that you maybe you lost fat, but you gained muscle. Maybe you just retaining a lot of water. You could just be bloated that day. So it could be so many different reasons, and don't allow yourself to be discouraged. Try to just think positive and be careful what you think. Because if you just say, oh, this is not working, this is not, this is not this is not that, and you just give up, now you will never reach your goal. But instead, you'll just be like, okay, What did I do? If you step on the pound and you're like, okay, what did I do this week, that I could change for next week to better myself? Or maybe I should do a little bit more cardio. Maybe I should cut down on sodium. Maybe it's just the weight training. Maybe it's this, maybe it's that. So shift your changing, transform the way you think and be more positive. And like I said, it goes right back into number one and going after that. If you have to reshift your steps sometimes to, accommodate where your path is going, that is perfectly fine. But do not give up. Think positive, have a strong mentality for the challenges that may be in your way, and you'll definitely get there for sure.
For sure. I definitely want to like piggyback on what you said. I read a quote from Albert Einstein this one time, and I can never forget it. He basically said that a problem cannot be solved with the same mentality that created it. And so I heard that and it resonated with me in a different way, because you're right. Like if I am in a place where I am unhealthy physically or mentally or spiritually, I cannot get myself out of there thinking with the same thought patterns, because that is what got me there in the first place. Another thing that I've been studying recently a lot, I've been diving deep into the law of attraction. And it's so fascinating, because one of the things that they said on there is that basically your thoughts become your reality. And basically the reality that you're living now is the thoughts that you had way back whenever. And so me now thinking about what I used to think about and looking at my life now, it makes so much sense. Like literally I am living the reality that I thought about previously. And you can always change the reality that you want to experience later on in your future by changing your thoughts now. So definitely, go ahead and renew your mind, transform your thoughts, it just start one day at a time by telling yourself the truth. I know a lot of people think that changing how you think can be really hard because you've been having these thoughts for a long time, but your mind cannot tell the lie from a truth. Your mind can only resonate with things as true. So if you say something, your mind is automatically going to believe it. Your mind can only resonate with things as true. So if you say that you're ugly, your mind is going to be like, all right, we're ugly. If you say I'm really pretty, your mind is going to be like, okay, we're really pretty. Like whatever you feed your mind is just going to believe it. So if you think that, oh, I'm always going to be lonely, or I'm always going to have this weight, or I really, don't like this, or I really don't like that. And you're just telling yourself all these negative things. Your mind is just going to be like, all right, we are a negative Nancy, but if you start, being a positive Polly, then your mind is going to be like, oh, okay, well, time to go. We have things to do. Like, you know what I'm saying? So like, definitely just start with one thought at a time. So if you've been hearing that I'm ugly for a long time, tell yourself I'm beautiful. Okay, which one are we thinking? And the one that you feed into more is what's going to stay there, because in the back of your mind, you're going to think like, oh no, I've been hearing all my life for the past 18 years that I'm ugly. There's no way I can be beautiful. But if you start introducing it one day at a time, just telling myself I'm beautiful, I'm beautiful, I'm beautiful, that ugly is going to cease to exist. So definitely just start off slow. You don't have to just go out there and, have all the confidence in the world, because it doesn't work like that. Build yourself up brick by brick. So one thought at a time will change everything. A couple of verses that we had is a man is as he thinketh, and that's another popular verse, because it is just true. It is whatever you think about, you become. Be able to change the way you think, because you are going to be who you think you are.
Another thought to add on to that is when it comes to trying to change your perspective, of yourself, as you guys, so if you guys watch our other videos, you guys do know that I was dealing with postpartum depression. And one of the main factors is the way I used to talk to myself. What kind of helped me, take myself out of that is basically, having a son, having a baby. And every time I would say myself, you're so handsome, you're so this, you're so that. If you don't know how to talk to yourself and give yourself positive affirmations, or give yourself positive thoughts, talk to your inner child then. Talk to your younger self, talk to your inner child and be like, hey, you're amazing. Today you did great. Today, you gave somebody a very nice, that's a really good thing of you. You're making progress. Or, hey, you actually got up this morning and you went to the gym. Good job. Good job. It may sound childish, but when you talk to no one has to know your thoughts. But if you tell yourself that personally, over time, it do make you feel better, because then you got up for go to the gym today, then you do it tomorrow again. You're like, okay, look at you. This is the second time you've gone to the gym, or this is the second time you read that book, or second time you prayed this week, or second time you open your Bible, or, second time you reached out to a friend to check up on them to make sure they were good, whatever it is. So start giving yourself little pep talks, to boost your self-esteem. It is a part of love. Just like if you're in a relationship or if you're in a marriage, and you want to give them positive affirmations, you tell them I love you. You tell them how great they are. You tell them how you make them feel. Tell that to yourself.
Oh,
Give them self. Same way how you would see a child when they, do a little scribble scrabble on the paper and you're like, oh my gosh, best painting in the world, Picasso, my God. But it's true, we hype kids up. So do that before yourself. When I go to the gym, like, especially when I've been going in the morning, like 6 o'clock. And it's just like, the fact that I got out of my bed and I'm not a morning person and made it to the gym the way back, I'm like, I did it, I'm killing it, this and this and that. Like, even if I don't do it again for the rest of the week, the fact that I was able to do it just that once, it makes me feel confident. It makes me feel like, okay, you're being focused, you're on your grind, you're doing what you need to do. One step closer to reaching your goal. You're doing a good job. Keep going up that. Same way you would encourage your friend, your husband, your wife, your best friend, your child. Do it to yourself. And that's the easiest way I can say when it comes to giving yourself positive thoughts and having a stronger mentality over a period of time. It would just become natural to you.
The Bible says is in Philippians 4:8. It says, finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent and praiseworthy, think about such things.
All right.
As we said in the previous verse, a man is as he thinketh. So focusing on everything that is praiseworthy and excellent, you focusing on that, guess what you're going to be? Praiseworthy and excellent. So focus on good things because you truly are what you think you are. Okay. Another point that we made, self-love and self-awareness. This is kind of where the meat is of this video. So it's going to be very in depth. And I know, we've been giving like our commentary and going back and forth, but Jessica, are you interested in having like a conversation about this one point?
Yeah.
Just because it's very like in depth,
Yeah, we could definitely have a conversation about that. Self-love and self-awareness, those are probably one of my favorite topics.
Yeah.
Just because it's like, I've been through this like self-love and self-awareness journey. So it's great to be able to talk about it and share my experience.
So for sure. Okay. So for like self-love, when we first came up with this idea, we both were like, oh, well, because people have like the wrong outlook on what self-love is. They kind of think like, okay, well, self-love means I got to go get my hair done. I got to get my nails done. I got to go to Target and buy this coffee that I don't even know what is from their Starbucks area, whatever. And then I have to go shopping for, aesthetically pleasing, ornaments in the office aisle or whatever, whatever aisle they go to. And we both agreed, like, we wanted to make a video that specifically states like that is not what it is, And so like, what is self-love to you, Jessica?
Self-love to me is basically that. It's literally loving yourself. And you cannot love yourself unless you know yourself, unless you accept your flaws, unless you have all of that combined. You can be able to show up in the world and be like, hey, this is me. This is who I am. I'm confident in who I am. I love myself, and you just show up to the world as your true, genuine self. I believe that that's what self-love is genuinely knowing yourself. Self-love is, basically being able to show up to the world and saying that this is who I am. This is what I'm capable of doing. These are my good traits. These are my not so good traits, but I love myself. I care about myself. And, this is showing up in the world in your true, genuine self. Not what your parents raised you to be or told you to be, not what school told you to do. Be, not what society, true, genuine self. When you can look in the mirror and you know exactly who's looking back at you, that is self-love.
Yes. Definitely. I definitely agree with that. Self-love. I literally take the whatever words say and that's what it is. Affirmations, self-affirmations of like self-affirming truths. I really just broke down that word and just like really took it literally. So I think when people say self-love, they have this like Instagram version of it. And they really need to have like that internal, like, what is it to me? What does it mean? How can I love myself? You know, a lot of times we want other people to love us for us to feel love, but you can actually feel love with you being by yourself. Like, you don't always need somebody else to pour it into you because humans are flawed. Okay. So we are naturally going to hurt one another unintentionally or intentionally, just because that's just kind of how we are wired. We're not really perfect all around, and you can't really give somebody your happy, like that you can't depend on somebody else for your happiness. Okay, because that's just a shaky territory to be on. Who you can give your happiness to is God. You can depend on God for happiness, and you can also depend on yourself for your own happiness, and that's really the key to self-love. So basically doing things like, okay, what do I like to do? What do I find pleasing? And, you know, somebody might think like, okay, I want to be somebody who has my nails done every, 2 weeks. Great. For me, I really like to be alone in peace. I like to learn new things. I like to, read. And so somebody's self-care day is going to look completely different than mine, because mine is just going to be like, oh, you're just laying in bed reading. But to me, that's everything, and like to somebody else, that's just kind of boring. That's not aesthetic or anything. You know what I'm saying? So it all depends on what you internally value and doing that. So like there are times where you're going to be like, okay, well, I want to go out to eat, but you can't find anybody to go out to eat with. Love yourself and take yourself out to eat. It's okay. Like to say, hey, table for one, like it's perfectly normal. Like I used to be a hostess. So I used to seat people at tables by themselves all the time. And I even do it now. I even go out and I eat by myself, because it really isn't about sharing a meal with someone. It's really about you enjoying the meal that you are ordering. Like it's really about just getting
Like
that for you. Like it's not
I'm
even
here for the food.
Yeah, like I'm here for the food.
I'm
Like,
here for the food.
that's it. And if you feel a little bit angsty about that, then just take a to-go order. It's all about, it really is all about the food that you just want to eat. You know what I'm saying? So it's not even about the other person. So self-love to me is just really focusing on things that you love to do for yourself. So whether that be reading, whether that be going to the gym, whether that be taking a walk, whether that be, making new friends, going out, like whatever you love to do personally, do it, because that's what's going to bring you the most, value, love, I guess.
Totally agree, for sure. I feel like, but one of the things I would say too is to get to that point where you're doing external things, make sure you also do the internal things.
Yeah.
Because unless you know yourself deep within, you won't be able to really know what exactly you would want and what would, would make you feel good on the outside. If you're a person who, you like dressing up because when you look in the mirror, you like to look good. Okay, so getting your eyebrows done, your lashes done, your hair done, and that's an external way of showing your self-love. And when you're able to look in the mirror and you look good and you feel good and everything is done, that works for you. That's great. Some people prefer, so it's like, as long as my skin is clear. And so you go out and you're getting facials and you're buying products that are catered to, clear, healthy skin. Do that because that works for you. So knowing within what makes you feel confident in yourself, what makes you feel good about yourself, is what you would focus on. Like she said, everyone's different. Valine likes to lay down and read a book, which is great. That's what worked for her. For me personally, I love jazz music. So for me, I like to play jazz music. Saxophone is my favorite. So I like to listen to either a saxophone or jazz music. I have to burn the candle. I also do like to read. I also like to take notes. I love writing a lot. And for me, the way I like to calm down is either, I watch YouTube videos and watch, vlogs and things like that, find those interesting. Or, sometimes I just like to go out and go to the gym and, being able to like just work out and listen to whatever playlist I want to listen to at 1 a.m. So it depending on the day and depending on the mood, it will depend on what I want to do.
Yeah.
Along, how I take care of myself, whether it's my hair, my nails, and I do things that I feel like makes me feel confident, makes me feel better, which is personally catered to me in the work. So know yourself first, understand what you like, and like them. I like jazz music because I believe that it's relaxing. Madeline likes to lay in her bed and read her book because to her that's relaxing. For other people, it might go to the park and feeding birds. So other people, it might going to the movies by themselves. Figure out what works for you. Don't go by what other people do on Instagram or on Facebook or wherever you see it. Figure what makes you, what gives you, what brings you peace, what brings you calmness, what brings you joy, what brings you being able to enjoy your fruits of your labor. And being able to just go from there.
Right. Because somebody else's self-care day, if you really try to mimic it and think it's going to bring you happiness, you're going to be upset. One, because you're spending all this money on things that you don't even like. Who likes matcha? And I know I'm going to get spammed in the comments because people are going to be like, matcha, like that's my babe. And it's like, for me, I don't even like tea. Okay. If I'm sick, I'm going to take some yogi tea, but that's about it. And if I'm trying to, get this little flat stomach, I'm going to take some detox tea, but that's about all the tea I'll drink. So for me, mimicking somebody else's self-care day, I'm going to be pissed.
Because girl, I'm a tea girl, an iced chai latte, or a green tea. I'm a tea girl. Right. I drink tea almost every morning or every night. That's my thing. But for you, you could care less. For me, that's my thing.
Right. Like give me a cup of coffee. Like for real. Like I don't know. I like some water, some coffee, and call it a day. Cause a little green superfood and a tea. No thanks. So yeah, definitely your self-love day has to be, or not even day, but mindset, lifestyle has to be catered to you specifically. Like you really have to ask yourself the questions, who is the best version of myself? Or even if you can't start there, start with the negative. If people are very negative nowadays, what don't you like about yourself? What don't you like about yourself? And you're going to start listing things that you don't like. And those are the things that you can work on changing to achieve your best self. It's like a reverse psychology type of thing where you just focus on the negative aspects of you. Oh, I hate my weight. I hate how my hair looks. I hate my skin. Okay, well, the best version of me got good skin. I need to get a hair routine. I need to lose some weight. Boom, right there. You already know what you need to do. So, and then make steps underneath that of what's realistic. Okay, well, let me do this treatment and let me, get on this meal plan and let me try this and let me do this. So for sure. And we always come with the verses.
Better when you're doing.
Yeah, you do feel better. You
feel so much better.
Yeah. For sure. Cause when you see that pound drop, or when you see that hair grow, or when you see that pimple fade, that dark mark is gone, you're gonna be like, okay,
exactly.
You know what I'm
saying? Flips hair, you're gonna love it. And basically what Vedline is explaining is being able to be, for you to be able to look at yourself and genuinely ask yourself, what I don't like about me and what I want to change. It does require self-awareness. Yeah. And when I say self-awareness, I mean genuine self-awareness. Not like, oh, I'm just a little overweight, no. I mean genuinely sit yourself down. And it's not only just about, oh, I'm just overweight, but maybe it's the cause of it. Okay, I realize that when I'm stressed out, the first thing I want to do is go in my fridge and get a tub of ice cream. Okay, now that I understand that, maybe I have either I emotionally eat, and so work on that, because that right there, and being self-aware, understanding, okay, when I'm stressed out, when I'm overwhelmed, I emotionally eat, which is also causing me to lose weight. Because you can go to the gym and you can work out, and then it's then the minute you get stressed again, there you is back in the refrigerator eating again. So really take your time. When it comes to self-love, you really have to understand your flaws, and you got to go deep within yourself, because and first, so you know yourself and you understand what your triggers are. You understand what your faults are. You understand where you fall short at. And when you get to the root of whatever those problems is, you correct those and you fix that. So the external things will eventually correct itself. If you know that you're an emotional eater, and you correct that and you work on that and you try to calm yourself down, or you do whatever you can do to fix that problem, the benefit of that would be, okay, now you're going to start losing weight because these calories. So that's another way to look at it. So when you're self-aware, be honest with yourself, dig deeper within yourself. If you need to go to therapy for somebody to kind of help you go deeper, sign up for a therapist. Or you could go to a friend and be like, hey, when it comes to these certain situations, do you notice that I act like this way or that way? Or what do you think? You can, seek other people for advice and see, what they think of how you deal with things and how you're doing things. And being able to take constructive criticism is very important too, because once you have a self-awareness and you understand and you know yourself, there's nothing that no one else can tell you that's going to really hurt you, because I already know.
Right.
I know. If you were to come up to me like, you're overweight, like, yeah, I know that. Okay. Was that said to hurt me? Because it didn't. I'm already working.
It didn't.
I'm already working on it. I've been going to the gym 5 days a week. I'm gonna get to where I want to get to.
Right.
So when you know yourself and you're working on those flaws to correct yourself, no matter who it is, whether it's a mean comment from somebody random, whether it's a mean coworker or whoever, when they try to come to you and use, your insecurities or use these things to attack you, it's not gonna hurt you as much because you already know yourself. You know where you fall short at. So those words are not hurting me because I already know.
Right.
I'm already doing what I need to do to be able to correct those things.
Right.
But go.
That reminds me of a quote that I used to say. It's like, when you know who you are, then the world can't tell you who you are. But as long as you don't know who you are, the world will give you a title,
Absolutely.
So definitely, if you are self-aware, and I love the fact that you mentioned getting external help to help you dig deeper, because sometimes we tend to stay shallow. We tend to think of ourselves as perfect, but then we always have these inadequacy feelings, but then we tend to think of ourselves as perfect. So there is like an unstable reality right there. Like, you're not really being truthful with yourself. And one of the things you said was, get a therapist. And some people, you can't afford therapy, but you do have friends, you do have people that's doing life with you. You even have coworkers or anything like that. So definitely asking people, hey, what is it like to be on the other side of me?
Mm-hmm.
What is it like to experience me? Who am I? What do you like? How am I to you? And, people are going to be honest. If you give them room to be honest with you, they're going to be honest and say, well, hey, I know that you tend to, not follow through on your plans, or I tend to think that, you don't really listen and you really just are self-absorbed. I think and they will tell you things that you actually need to, consider working on, because they are the people who are doing life around you and with you. And oftentimes, people will be in marriages and they will just file for divorce, and their partner will be like, well, I don't know what happened. When the partner you ask that filed for divorce, they'll be like, well, I've been telling them for years they don't listen. And clearly your listening skills for this past years got you to a divorce. So you need to definitely accept what people are saying to you, and don't take it like, oh, I'm this horrible person, I just need to end it all. No, take it as time to work on yourself and improve in those areas that you need to improve on. Now, somebody saying, oh, a mean comment to you shouldn't define who you are. Definitely know that you are everything good, everything noble, everything great. But you just have some working areas that you need to work on, just because, you can't think that you're perfect.
None of us.
Yeah. So for sure. Some of the verses that we have is the greatest commandment. And that's basically, love God and love others. But from you loving God, you have to love yourself. And from that love, you love others. So definitely know what self-love is, basically the point of this video, to just really truly get to know self. And don't lie to yourself, because when you stop lying to yourself, that's when your life will change 100%.
And then another verse that we talked about was another verse that goes into what we were saying when it comes to seeking other people outside of yourself is the Proverbs 12 13 through 15.
Okay. So it says the wicked are trapped by their own words, but the godly escape such trouble. Wise words bring many benefits, and hard works bring rewards. Fools think their own way is right, but the wise will listen to others. Do you
That
want to
one.
just do fools think their own way is right, but wise listen to others?
Okay, so that's the 12 verse 15.
That's 12:15. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So it's just another verse that goes basically about, being able to talk to others and seeing what their experience is of you is Proverbs 12 verse 15, and basically saying that a fool would only listen to themselves, but a wise person will listen to others. And that is very important. Like I said, if you really are not, you've never really done it before, or you can't do it in a proper way where you're able to really dive deep, then I would say seek a therapist and being able to talk to them and dive deeper, or just go to your family members, or going to a trusted friend, a trusted coworker, whatever area of your life, and just ask them like, hey, what is your experience with me? Or hey, when it comes to this, what do you think I handle these certain situations? Do you see as this and you see as that? And sometimes you'll be surprised by what people tell you. And for my personal experience, I know that with my siblings, and sometimes even my mom, she says that, when you get frustrated, you talk a little aggressive sometimes. And I never really noticed, until like, wait, she's right. Even though at first I was like, no, I don't. Like, what are you talking about? But then the way I responded to that showed exactly what she was talking about. So I was like, okay, all right, all right. So then I had to work on that. And I'm just like, okay, I don't want to come off as, hostile or aggressive. Sometimes I just feel like, well, I just had a long day at work, or, I'm frustrated because I had to pay a couple of bills and I'm just da 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 da, and then I just sometimes kind of like take that frustration out on them. But to them, they're just like, hey, can you move your car? Or, hey, can you just do this? And you do that. And then here comes the aggression. And so had that not been said to me, like I would never known. I would have never known. So it's very important up and bettering yourself, because at the end of the day, it's a journey that we're on, a journey of life. And one of the most important things, and out of anybody that's in your life, you're going to always be stuck with you. You can lose everybody else in your life, but you will always be stuck with you. So why not love the person that you are? Why not care for that person that you are? And so knowing you're working on those flaws that you have, because every single one of us have them, and so when you understand that, and you work on to bettering yourself and handling situations a lot better, you're going to learn to appreciate yourself. And then in the future, when you're at a goal or at a point where you're handling things well, and you can look back at it and be like, wow, I remember I used to be the type of person I used to fight people in high school. Now look at me, I'm able to calm down and de-escalate a situation in a proper manner without offending anyone. You'll see that growth in yourself, and I feel like being able to see that, it's a beautiful thing.
It is. It is. And if you have a hard time, or you don't have anyone at all, you can always go to God, and the verse that will help you with that is Psalms 139, verse 23. It basically says, search me, O God, and know my heart. Test me and know my anxious thoughts. Point out anything in me that offends you, and lead me along the path of everlasting life. So really just going to God and saying, listen, what in my heart is not like you? Show me everything that I need to work on and become more like you. Help me live the best life that I can possibly live. Help me live the life that you have set for me. And just bring to me anything that is, not up to your standards, and he will reveal it if you are big and bold, because that's not an easy prayer to pray. So if you are ready for that level of commitment, because things will start coming up, maybe it'll be in the middle of your prayer, maybe it'll be a situation that you encounter, and you feel as if like you just get this feeling inside of you when you're in that situation. You'll just feel like, hold on, something's tugging at me. I don't really know what it is. Well, that's what he wants you to work on, So it definitely is something that you're going to have to be mindful and listen to when he does respond and answer to you. It may be that, every time you make a goal, you don't really stay to it. Like, so you're not really dependable. You spend money too easily and carelessly, or it could be, aggressive behavior, or it could be just very like passive behavior where you just let everything go. And it really is a lot to do with self. So just be mindful of when he does respond, what you need to work on, that you take that time to really work on it, because that is what's going to help you, essentially.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. The next point that we have is creating boundaries. Now, when we say boundaries, there are different types of boundaries, but first you must define what is a boundary. And a boundary is kind of like a border, something that, kind of, it's kind of like, when people say don't cross the line with me, or don't even do that, or don't go there, like I told you, like, it's things that you do not want done to you. It's things that you have like a defense against. It's like a mark of, a demarcation mark of like, this is where this stop. It's kind of like how the ocean has a boundary with land, and like it doesn't cross a certain part, or when it does, like a tsunami, it destroys a lot of things. So when people cross your boundaries, it destroys the friendship, relationship, whatever. So boundaries are just that line of like, hey, this is safe zone and don't do it. So there's different types of boundaries. There's negotiable boundaries where it's kind of like, okay, well, it's flexible. And then there's non-negotiable boundaries where it's kind of like, no, this is a brick wall, like barbed wire fence. I'm not doing it. So definitely be mindful of like what boundaries you have for yourself. What do I like? What do I don't like? What do I tolerate? What do I not tolerate? And if you can't come up with that for yourself, find somebody that you can talk to that you like the way they deal with certain things. Like, let's say, I like how, Sarah handles her money. Sarah, like, she's on vacations every other month and she's just living her best life. And we work as coworkers. I'm going to go and talk to Sarah because either she's making a fatter check than I am, or she just has really good budgeting skills. Like, go talk to her, like ask her, like, listen, I see you living your best life, we work at the same job, like I really look up to you, what do you do? Or even if it's somebody who you don't work with, somebody who has a higher position that you a style you aspire to have, like let's say it's your dentist, you go see your dentist and they're making buku money. Hey, how did you get into dentistry? What did you do? What did you like? What school did you attend? How long did you study? Were you a student? Did you have a part-time job? Ask them, and they'll share their story with you. People are very transparent and about their testimonies, and so that way you can get there. You always learn from people that did it before you. Like there's a verse, there's nothing new under the sun. So everything that you aspire to do, everything that you want, somebody wants it too and have it. So ask them how they got it so that you can have it too. And I promise you, people are way nicer and way opener than you think. Like millionaires, they love telling you how they got their first million. They love telling you their success stories. They write books about it all the time, and you buy the book and that makes them even more millions. So definitely ask people, talk to people about what boundaries they have if you can't come up with any for yourself.
Yeah, I like that for sure. Healthy boundaries, I feel like it kind of piggybacks off for self-love and self-awareness. I feel like when you do your internal work and you know yourself, you're gonna know what things are just too much or pushing you to your limit. If you are a woman and you know that when you are in a relationship with somebody and that person cheats on you, and then you know that once cheating occurs, you are no longer being able to, play your role or to do, to be happy or content once that trust is gone, the communication is gone, things like that. If you know that about yourself and that's something that you believe that is not tolerant, then that becomes your boundary. So no cheating is a boundary for you. If you're another person, you work by 5 a.m. And therefore you have a certain bedtime, your boundary is, hey, you guys, after 7 p.m., unless it's emergency, do not call me because I have to be to sleep because I have to wake up early. That's another boundary. And don't be ashamed at whatever boundaries you have. Everyone has their own personal boundaries, and do whatever it makes you feel comfortable, and do set a boundary like Bethany known. If you don't know, you can talk to other people. But I feel like the best way to set it up for yourself as well, as far as personal thing, is whatever your triggers are. What triggers you, or what makes you feel uncomfortable? Start with there. As far as setting up boundaries. If you know that, when people say certain things or do certain things around you, understand that that is a boundary and you express that and don't feel ashamed. And when it comes to like financial stuff and you see somebody like Vedleen said, literally with the vacation thing, if you're wondering like, hey, we work in the same spot, but then you're able to do this and I'm not, what are you doing differently than I'm not, that I want to be able to learn, and 3 paychecks, I save X amount of money. And then that last one, I'm blowing it. So it's like, okay, that's her boundaries. That's her way of doing it. So then if you want to implement that, you're like, okay, my boundaries is I'm only going to spend X amount of money. This one is going to be saving. That's my boundaries. If anything outside of that, if you want to go to the club with me, sorry, can't. I already done spend the money that I was supposed to spend. I'll see you in 2, so that's another boundary too. So start with yourself, start with what triggers you, start what you feel like makes you feel uncomfortable. And also wherever you want to be in life, you can create boundaries like that too. If you know that you want to be, if you know that you want to live a certain lifestyle where you want to grow and you want to have the white picket fence with the family and stuff like that, and you have other friends that want to probably go to like certain clubs where you're going to be expending excessive amount of monies,
Right.
and if that feel uncomfortable and you feel like that's not where you want to be and the type of lifestyle you want to live, you can tell them like, hey, when it comes to doing these type of things, you guys are out here, basically blowing a here for it, that doesn't align with my vision. Go back to number one, that doesn't align with the vision that I see for myself. Therefore, when it comes down to doing these certain activities, count me out. And it's
Right.
fine. And that you're showing when creating boundaries allows you to respect yourself and
Mm.
and others to respect you, even if they don't like it, because boundaries that people are not going to like or appreciate or respect. And if they don't, they can just go. They can just go, or you can love them from a distance, but when you love yourself enough, in order to really genuinely love yourself, you must respect yourself and you must allow yourself to be respected by other people as well. And if they don't value you enough to respect you and how it's not somebody that you need to keep close to you. That's just the honest truth.
You brought up such a valid point, is that really and truly with boundaries, you really need to love, honor, respect yourself enough to create and uphold your new boundary. And then you also need to forgive yourself for the boundaries that you did not have before. Because what people will do, like Jessica mentioned, is they will try to guilt trip you into having these new boundaries that you have created for yourself. And a way that you can combat it is, like I said, love, honor, respect yourself enough to uphold your new boundaries and forgive yourself for the boundaries you did not have. Sorry, I did not have that boundary before, where I was going to with you to the club, spending all this, money. But I have this new vision that I have, going back to point number one, like Jessica said, I have this new vision for myself where Sarah told me I got to spend X amount of dollars so I can go on vacation next month with her. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, definitely it's going to be scary, because when you start to set up boundaries, you're going to see some people are going to start to leave you and not be able to accept your new terms and conditions, is what I call it, when you update your mind and you have to accept the new terms and conditions. But definitely people are going to leave, and you may experience a temporary loneliness, and that is okay, because you are moving in between levels, and in between levels it's lonely. But once you get to that top level, you have company there with you, because there's other people that's going to the top as well. We took a little quick break, and now we are back. We are still on the topic of setting healthy boundaries. Jessica is on her way to, handle some mommy duties. So we are just going to keep it rolling. To have boundaries, you must love, honor, and respect yourself enough to uphold your new boundaries and forgive yourself for the boundaries you did not have before, just because people will guilt trip you. And if you go ahead and make this boundary of not spending money to be able to take yourself on vacation, and your friends are calling you to go to brunch, or they're calling you to go out, or they're doing this and they're doing that, and you can't spend that money, you have to go ahead and let them know that, respect yourself enough to uphold that, and not be able to diminish or devalue yourself to try to go out with them and keep them around. If they respect you, they'll stay around. But if they don't, they can't, be with somebody who's cheap, quote unquote, like you are. They don't understand that you are saving for something greater and better. They're going to end up, not calling you as often, or even disappearing from your life completely. And you may for that time being, experience some loneliness. And you are going to be lonely in between levels, because at first you were, at the broke level and you had all these friends where you guys were just blowing money. But now you are in a transitional phase where you're trying to go on vacation. And so you're going to be lonely in that period where you're saving money. But while you're on vacation, you're going to make new friends, because now you have people like Sarah, my example earlier, who is going on vacation every month. And now you're able to go with her on vacation. So now you've made a new friend to go on vacation and travel the world with. So you've made a higher friend, a higher level self of friend. So definitely don't be afraid to leave your past life. So definitely be happy and rejoice in your suffering, is what they say in the Bible all the time. It may sound like, oh, I'm lonely, I have nobody around me, but I'm trying to go on vacation. How am I going to go on vacation when I have no friends? But don't even think about it like that. Rejoice and say, oh my gosh, I'm going on vacation, and there's going to be so many great people that are going to be around me that I get to experience this new life with. Like, think about and meditate on all things good, like we had mentioned earlier. Proverbs 4:23, where it says, guard your heart above all else. And then the verse that ties in with it is also the for the mouth speaks what the heart is full of. So Jessica, knowing that verse, guard your heart above all else, any commentary?
So basically, I feel like it's very self-explanatory. Just kind of goes back to number 3, when we were talking about being able to love yourself and having self-awareness. I believe that when you really genuinely love yourself and you have self-awareness and you now have these healthy boundaries, you understand when you go out into the world and you're showing up as yourself, you have to protect yourself. You are a great creation. You understand that you've been really working on yourself. You've been really doing, putting in the work to be where you at, or, putting in the work to be, where you want to be. Guard your heart. You understand that, okay, if you hang around certain people, you understand that these people might have an influence on you. So you have to protect yourself. I feel like guarding your heart is not only just physically guarding your heart, or guarding yourself as well. So staying away from things that may hurt you or hinder you from growing, saying things that may bring you back to where you want, to where you were, or, put you in a bad, in a worse predicament. The best thing I can say when it comes to guarding your heart is use proper discernment. I believe that that's exactly it's really showing you. Use proper discernment. Protect yourself. Be able to be, of course, you can be friendly and be nice and be open to people, but not to give too much of yourself to people. To still, protect yourself the way you would protect a child. When you're out in public, let's say if you have a child and, somebody comes up to your child, oh, hey, little baby, you go, like, okay, say hi back or whatever. Then it's like, can I hold him? Can I kiss him? Whoa, now you're going too far. I don't know you. My child doesn't know you. Now, at that point, that's when you protect. You're guarding your child. And so, so just like the way that you will protect your child from a stranger, the way that you should protect yourself. So while you're in public, you have to talk to people, you can conversate with them, you can interact with them, but you're not going to go out and start sharing bank account information. You're not going to start going out and giving out your social security number. Protect yourself, protect your heart. When you're dealing with somebody, use proper discernment. Sit back and observe this person's actions. Sit back and observe when this person comes around you. What is your spirit telling you? What kind of energy are you feeling when you're around that person? When you go around certain people and you feel like something is off or something is wrong, then that tells you what you need to know. Or remove yourself away from that person and or situation. That is another way that you're guarding your heart. You're protecting yourself.
The last point, self-care, doing things that you love to do. Watching other people reels will not help you. Re-emphasize point number 1 is basically making a vision, the best version of yourself. Who is the best version of yourself? Now, I know I'm probably going to get flagged for this, and a lot of people are going to come after me, but delete your social media. Delete your social media. That is going to 100% get you to know yourself more than anything. You will realize how you have nothing to click on every time you go on your phone to go and watch other people live their best lives. Now you're stuck with you and your thoughts on a 24/7 basis. Even though people say, oh, I don't compare myself to celebrities, I don't compare myself to the people that I follow. You do internally try to measure up and measure on their time standards, time stamps, timelines. Like, even though they're making like, 25,000 for just a show that they attend, you are trying to think to yourself, well, what's wrong with me that I can't get to a show? What is wrong with me that I can't, do X, Y, and Z? But that's not what you were created for. So, you're trying to compare yourself and your lives to these people. And some people are like, oh no, I don't compare to celebrities. But then you're like, you look at Mulatto, who's just 21, and you're like, well, dang, I'm 27 and I can't figure it out. You're comparing, you know what I'm saying? Like, even on the littlest levels, like, you are comparing to what you see on there. So definitely just be mindful of what you hear, see, listen to. Those people are not on the level that you are on. They had to go through their own journeys. So definitely delete your social media, because you are comparing yourself to at least the standards of what you think society deems to be successful, or what society thinks that is appropriate. If nobody had a social media, who would you be? Think about that. Think about, who would you be? What do you want to do? Not you wanting to become an influencer, or not you wanting to, take aesthetically pleasing photos, and you wanting to, go to all these places that you see other people go to and spending buku of money, labels. Who would you be? Who would you be without social media? And really think about that. Like, when you think about who is the best version of myself, am I doing that for me because that's what I want, or did I see that somewhere and did I compare myself to that person for a little bit?
So like Bethleen said, I definitely agree. Deleting your social media is definitely an extreme measure. But if you do find yourself like where you're always subconsciously comparing yourself to others, I would delete my social media, outlets or whatever. Me personally, I know Bethany and I don't know if you mind, but we had a personal conversation, the rise of Instagram and how basically being on Instagram and when the influencer lifestyle and just the influencer look was becoming more popular with the BBL culture.
You said that we were having a conversation about the BBL culture.
Yeah.
Okay.
Culture and seeing all these top notch, no flaws no flaws on Instagram, and you see that men are like thirsting after them, women are like hyping them up. So it's just like when I used to compare subconsciously, I would compare myself to them because I would be like, wait a minute, how is your waist so small? Your thighs are everything else is like super you're super thick, you're voluptuous, you're curvy, your face is like on 10, style designer this, designer that, and you're only like 23 years old. And it's like it did make me feel insecure because I felt like, okay, I didn't look like that. And it made me question. So basically what I had to start doing, and I still do to this day, is that I had to start taking social media breaks. And not only that too, but as things become more seen on Instagram, I realized that, hold on, you wasn't born like this. You got, a BBL, which ain't nothing wrong with it. I'm here for it if you got it. So, but people were going out and getting surgeries, and people were doing fillers and lip injection on top of doing Facetune and editing their photos. And so what I was even comparing myself to wasn't even the way the person looks in real life.
Right.
They don't look like this in real life. And I was comparing myself to a fictional lifestyle and a fictional, basically a fictional person, because you're posting this picture, but you don't even look like you.
Exactly.
And so once I realized then I realized that what some women, not all though, what some women were doing to be able to afford these designers, or what they were doing to get the designer bags, it made me say, you know what, like, I appreciate for how I look and who I am. This, like, I don't have to do X, Y, and Z to be able to get those designer bags and things like that. Or, it took some time, but I really had to talk to myself, and I really had to reteach myself on how to appreciate how I look and who I am. And it's like now, as I've gotten older, and I understand that there's different things that came into play with how, how Instagram was, at that rise, with that era, I realized that, it subconsciously, it was affecting me. And it took, going back to one of them, hey, wait a minute. All of a sudden, you're being hard on yourself because of your weight and the way you dress and the way you look. It wasn't a problem before. What is it causing the problem now? And then when I put two and two together, I'm like, hold on. Instagram, trying to a look that is not even realistic,
Right.
you know? And so once I thought about that over a period of time, I really, talked to myself and I realized like, okay, Jessica, what do you like about the body that you have? What do you like? What do you want to change? Okay, so do you want to change this because of Instagram or do you really want to change this for you? Because you don't like it. And then when I realized what the things are that I like and don't like, the things that I know that I didn't like, and I know that I could work on those things because that's what I want to do, not because of Instagram or or YouTube or whatever. It's whatever I felt like I wanted to look. And
Right.
so just be mindful of those things. Like I said, even if you feel like it doesn't affect you in some way, shape, or form, it does. Everyone's affected by social media because you already know that if when that day that Instagram went down for like 24 hours or whatever hours,
Right.
everybody went nuts.
Right.
It went crazy. So we're addicted. We're addicted. We're upset. Like that's just what it is. If you don't want to delete it all in all, I understand that, but take frequent breaks for time you have, and it makes you allow you to be more mindful, of of what you're doing and being able to be present in your actual day-to-day life.
For sure. For sure. Like, breaks are, listen, I want to say, I guess I'm on a break right now. I know I took a break to focus on my finals because before I was getting C's and D's in the class. I deleted social media. I ended up getting B's and A's. Like, wow. The amount of time that I spent scrolling on Instagram versus studying was ridiculous. And I improved my grade in the span of, I think, like 2 weeks by just devoting time to study instead of scrolling at night, staying up late nights. I was able to get in bed earlier. I was able to wake up on time, get to work on time, study, go to the gym, do everything that I have to do, and still feel like I have so much more time left. Why? Because you think like, oh, I was just scrolling on Instagram for like a good 10 minutes. No, that 10 minutes turns into 2 hours, 3 hours. And now you've wasted all this time looking at people who are already doing what they want to do. They're already established, and you're sitting down here still comparing yourself and not doing anything to further yourself. So definitely taking a break or even eliminating that, you will have so much time. A lot of people say, well, there's so much to do and so little time. What are you filling your time up with? How often are you scrolling? Like, how often are you, doing mindless things that are not pushing you forward? Every single day, I try to create myself a to-do list. What do I need to accomplish in this day? What do I need to do? And I look, okay, I have to work from 8 to 5. All right, great. So from 8 to 5, I know I'm at work. But on that hour lunch, I can just eat at my desk. In that hour, I get to do something on that hour that I need to do from my list, whether it's I need to turn in an assignment, whether it's I need to, drop off something to the post office, whether I need to do whatever errand I need to do, if I need to get a car wash, if I need to fill up my car with gas, doing those things throughout that day so that I feel accomplished, So definitely when you delete or take a break from social media, like Jessica said, you get to be present in the life that you are actually living on a day-to-day. And you don't even feel like like you have anything to compare yourself to, because you don't know how the person across the street is living their life because you're not on you're not on social media seeing what they're posting. You know what I'm saying? You just see somebody pull up with a Benz or a Mercedes or a luxury car next to you at the gas pump. And you're like, dang, your car is really nice. Oh, thank you. And then, you pump your gas and you go on your merry way. You don't even think twice about it. But if you were to constantly see people posting their luxury cars on social media, and you see like, this person is riding in a new foreign every single time they upload, and you're just like, well, what am I doing? Versus you just appreciating the car that you do have and working on a way to upgrade it. So definitely taking breaks would be great. Deleting the whole thing and getting rid of it would be even better. So, but that it is an extreme measure. So, take your time and do what's comfortable with you, even if it's okay, I'm gonna log on from this day to this day, and I'm gonna log off from this time period to this time period just to see what it feels like. Even if you have to just do breaks like that, start small before you go big, just because it is an addiction, and going cold turkey never really helps with anybody. They tell you that. You have to start off slow, but if you do go cold turkey, be prepared to have some like withdrawal symptoms. Yeah.
Exactly. So I definitely agree with that for sure. Definitely baby steps. So yeah, just be mindful when it comes to how you're, receiving things. That's another thing of self care. Go back. Another thing of self care is being being self aware and really understanding, like I said, your triggers and things like that. If you're going online and you find yourself comparing yourself to other people, it robs you from being able to be grateful for where you at in life, and it robs you from just being able to just be mindful and enjoying where you at because you're so focused on where somebody is. You could be on chapter 5, they could be on chapter 52. You can't compare the two, but you're doing that on social media because you don't know this person's life story. You don't know what they did to be able to get to this point. Even if they tell you, in a certain way, they're not going to tell you all of that. They're going to tell you only the positives, and they're going to give you a simplified version. So just really try to be mindful and not to compare yourself to others. And when you're taking your social media breaks, like I keep saying mindfulness because that's what I'm working on now. Be mindful, be grateful, be present in your life. Like I said, going back to doing other self-care things. When was the last time you got up and you're like, you know what, let me just go to the park and just go for a walk and enjoy the nice sun on my skin or just enjoy the nice weather. If you live near a beach, let me just go to the beach and just, being able to enjoy myself. When was the last time, you played the piano, or when was the last time you actually genuinely did a hobby? A lot of people don't even have hobbies, because social media becomes their hobby. Yeah. When was the last time you actually, if you have a business idea, a business plan, okay, well, when you're taking your social media break, how about we actually go on Google, we go on whatever, official websites to be able to start working on that. Well, how about reading books, self-care books, self-help books, so you can definitely utilize the time that you have when you're taking those breaks and being proficient. If you substitute whatever time you're using on social media for something that's going to help you achieve your goal and get to your path and align with your path, you'll notice the big difference. And over a period of time, if you're consistent, social media is no longer going to play a bigger role. Social media might be something you just might have on time to time here and there just to see what's going on, and you hop right back off. It doesn't become that, an addiction. You'll be more addicted to doing things that better yourself because now you've been consistent, you've been doing it, and you're loving the results, and it just makes you want to keep going. So
let me tell you something. Let me interject. The people that you're watching, celebrities, have somebody who runs their social media. They don't have time to run their social media themselves. They pay somebody to do it. So oftentimes they are getting ready. They're getting dressed fabulously. You're like, oh, she looks good. She looks good. She's going to an event that she's been, preparing for, and she doesn't even know that this picture was posted or how many likes it has, how many comments it has, what people are saying. They have, people that run their social media. Like, I know that Adele does it. I know that, I'm sure Beyonce does it. There's people that post for them. It's not even them on their accounts for real. And there's people who, don't have social media. It was a long time. I remember it was a big deal when Will Smith got on social media. So I know it was like a really big deal when Will Smith got on social media. And I know that Jay-Z created a social media for like an hour, not even an hour maybe, and he deleted it, and he's a billionaire. So definitely, social media is not your end all be all. It's definitely a great marketing tool, but it's not something that you should just be addicted to and comparing yourself to and getting trapped in that fake reality, because it really is a fake reality. People will show you the highlights of their life, but not show you the full ups and downs, dips. They're just going to show you the mountaintops. So definitely don't compare yourself. Don't get entangled and trapped into that app. It's really sickening because teenagers are really addicted, and it's getting worse and worse because the suicide rates are going up, and it's just crazy. But as for the adults that are watching this and the tenacious women that are watching this, definitely know that where you are beautiful inside and out. You don't need to get surgery. If you do want to have surgery and it's something that you want to do for yourself and you realize it's for you, get it done, but make sure it's for you. Make sure it's not coming because you want to be accepted from social media, because then you might get the surgery. The doctor might do a bad job, and now you have health issues because you were trying to do something for the gram. So be mindful of that. These are real stories. There's horror stories out there, but then there's success rates. It's like, okay, great. Doctor did a really good job, but you're still broken. You have a nice body, but you're still like feeling inadequate. You know what I'm saying? So definitely just be mindful of that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So
So
this was
I feel
great.
like,
Because I know you
yeah,
have to go and
so,
get Zane.
mhm.
Yeah. So do you have any like finishing words?
We will discuss today. Just, like I said, like we said in a nutshell, find a path and basically find the vision that you want for your life. Align yourself with that vision, and then after that, take the steps to be able to follow through with that, which, involves with, being able to have self-awareness and self-love, being able to create your boundaries, and being able to find the vision of your life and knowing where you want to go and being able to stick to that plan. It's going to require a lot of self-awareness. Being able to seek counsel from definitely God. If you are Christian, I would definitely start off by praying about it. If you're having issues or you're still battling with that, or if you're just not a religious person, then go to a therapist or go to a trusted friend or a family member to be able to let you know what flaws you have and work on those flaws and try to do your best to better yourself. Being able to love yourself. And when we say love yourself and having self-love, we're not talking about going to Target and Home Goods and Starbucks. We're talking about really knowing yourself, accepting your flaws, working on yourself, being able to understand, you're being able to understand what you genuinely like and not feeling bad about what you like. If like I said, I listen to jazz music. I don't really know people around my age that really listen to jazz music, but I enjoy it and that's my thing and you can't tell me anything otherwise. I'm sorry, you really can't. I love lighting up my candles. I actually love going outside sometimes if it's not too hot because we're in South Florida.
Yeah.
I'll go for a walk with my son. I love those things. I like being able to do different things. I love going to museums. Those things are not technically popular, but I do not care because that's something that makes me happy, and I'm going to do it because I'm doing it for me, not for anyone else. Exactly. So that's kind of the mindset that you definitely have to have. Being able to be consistent with whatever you want, and being able to set healthy boundaries. Like I said, having boundaries and sticking to them is respecting yourself, and you can't really respect yourself unless you love yourself. So really, it's literally, it goes hand in hand. When you love yourself, you set up your boundaries. When you set up these boundaries, you're giving yourself respect. When you give yourself respect, you're making sure that other people are showing you the same respect. And if they don't, or they choose not to, or they don't care to, then understand that you have to keep them at a distance. It is what it is. And then when you keep them at a distance, and they'll sooner realize, like, wow, whatever, she says she doesn't want to do this, and when I did this, she really kind of like backed off on me. Okay, so she must be serious. So that's the type of energy and the type of vibe that you definitely should have for yourself.
To be consistent, we are going to come up with topics for you guys, and we're going to try to upgrade our quality because I know this one was very in and out. So if there's anything that was misinterpreted, please leave a comment in the comments below, and we will go ahead and do our best to either remake this video or we will try to answer your question. So definitely, because this is a very important video and it's very very vital. So definitely leave your comments down below. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, stay tenacious. Bye.
Thank you. Have a good one. Till next time.